for hours, just like, fuck this, I'm out of here. But yeah, no, food's dope. Food's dope. I think I'm definitely someone I'm trying to like bring up on here from time to time, because I definitely know food. I've been getting into cooking and stuff like that too. And it's actually cooking's one of those things where it's like, if you want to get really good at it, you have to start doing measurements and shit. Just like for the Indian and stuff. I remember I nailed Indian food couple times in a row. I was making a dish and it was just like almost perfect, and I was like, oh shit, I got one, you know. And then the next like 4 or 5 times I made it, it was just off. Like, fuck, man, you gotta portion that shit out the right way, because if you don't, it changes the flavor so much. That's really where it gets to. Like, if you want to like really get good at cooking, everything's got to start getting precise. And sit and take the time to, I'm gonna put exactly this much spice, that much salt, this much milk. Like, oh fuck. No, I just I gotta learn. I will learn to be more patient with it. But I can cook for real. I just like probably like a 3-star level, and if I was a little more patient, I could definitely have bars in the kitchen like that too. But cooking's cool. There's nothing like making a good meal at home. It almost makes you just be like, oh fuck, I don't even need to go out. That's how it was for a while. I was definitely cooking every day for like shit, probably a year plus. There was a moment there where I was not leaving the house to go buy food other than groceries. And saved a lot of money. But when I came back, damn, they got me. I went over to go get shit to make a sandwich. Whole Foods, walked out of there $50-something. The fuck are you talking about? $50 to put a sandwich together, out of its world. But that's California, bro. That's California right there. Okay, look, my business. What was I saying? Yeah, $50 for a sandwich. That's out of here. I'm not doing that. But you know, cooking is definitely one of those things that once you start really getting into it and enjoying, it's another spice. It's another gem to life. You know, there's a couple of those that are kind of just out of here when you really start getting into them. And it can be fun. It can be fun. I think when I had somebody to share it with, that's when I really see them. Oh, I had this. I'm not gonna tell that. I had a dope ass moment today though, up at my dad's house. But I shouldn't say that online. Anyway, what the fuck else was I? Oh yeah, Big X the Plug fucking came out with the album. That shit was gas. He's got it. I think Jelly Roll might have a little competition, because Big X is starting to figure it out. Big X is starting to figure it out for real. I think if he's able to just find himself a couple more different subject materials. That whole album was basically like a heartbreak album. It went back and forth to I love you to fuck that bitch, and then he threw good vocals on it. You know, he found himself a couple singers, and he definitely had some joints on there. Which is refreshing for sure. He's got that that tone to do it, you know. You can hear the Texas in his swag, just in his the way, his charisma, the way he carries himself. It comes across on the track that way, you know, where he's got that country sound with the hip hop kind of bounce to it. Oh, I thought his new album was dope. I only gave it one listen, but I'm definitely get back to that. You know, what's happening, man? Why you coming in here? They already bleeping out all your shit, man. It's good to see you too. But yeah, that shit was fire. And I listened to Ghostface Killer's shit too, but I couldn't get into it. It had a lot of hype back in it. I wasn't feeling it. In fact, I skipped half of it. And it was just like, I don't think this is... I'd be trying to give him a chance all the time. I always be going back and listening to his stuff because he be dropping a lot still. And it just... You know, Nas is one of those ones that he definitely maintained. You know, he still got his bounce to him. And I want to get into Ghostface. I guess it's just not my cup of tea. But Big X definitely, he dropped a banger. I don't know if it's like album of the year, but he's up there in probably top 5 this year, I would say. I think he's definitely making noise now. You know, he's starting to put himself on the map more and more, because he's already one of those people who could, you know, Texas seems to be making a name for itself a lot lately. You know, with a lot of, at least in hip hop, starting to pop back up on the map. And it's dope because it does have its own sound, you know, and it is different than a lot of the rest of the country. So it's dope to see him kind of come together on his own. And hey, I think if he figures out a way to tap into Texas culture in a way that we haven't heard before, I think that's just a missing piece. He already got the sound. He already got the flow. It's unique. I think he could be out of here, big time. You know, he's taking steps in the right direction for sure. 'Cause that's what it is right now. Hip hop's looked for. It's like it's like it just needs a little bit of ice. You know what I mean? You just need something to freshen up the drink just a little bit. It just needs a new, you know, throw a lemon in there or something. That's all it's gonna take for somebody to spark off. Just something to show something new. Just something to. It's a deep breath. You know, that's all it needs. It's a full deep breath. And once it finds that, it could continue, you know, on a new path. Find at least another wave for a while to ride. And I'm a fan. I'm a connoisseur. I love watching it. I love hearing it develop. I was talking about that earlier. Hearing sounds and how it always has these like four runners in the front that are these kind of faces of whatever genre it is, you know, rock, country, jazz, and how they're always so dimensionally different, or, you know, like a completely different perspective. But you need multiple of them to keep the face of the genre moving forward and doing shit correctly. You know what I mean? And it can't just be Drake. It can't just be, you know, surviving off of it. And I'm trying to put it in a positive light because it's not bad, you know. He's not like failing. They're not failing, but it's just got to be more than Drake. It needs more than Drake, you know, to carry it. I heard there might be a J. Cole Jid album coming, which would be crazy. That's a breath of fresh air. That'd be fly. I just heard that the new song Sun that he did off of God Does Like Ugly, he added one more, a secret, you know, bonus track, whatever, didn't come on the original. That was fly. That shit hit. That's another one. I still got Gobble Sort 'Em Out, I think, probably as the #1 album of the year, but that was clean too. That was definitely clean. I like that. Luca Brasi 4. I got that on repeat. I'm always gonna be with Kevin. You know, I'm rocking with Gates for the long way. Ain't no doubt of that. I just like what he represents. I like what he's doing. I'm gonna be a fan whether he goes mainstream or not. I think a bunch of his albums could have been at least in the talk for album of the year in these past 5-6 years, something like that, because of who he is, what he's doing, and the music that he's making. Because he is fly, you know, and he is doing something positive, and he is constantly working self-progression, and he is still maintaining, you know, his integrity and his manhood. Like, he's not just letting the world bend him over, and without being specific, you know what I mean? Like, it seems like he's doing his best to do it the right way. So from his starting position that he was given. So that's fly. And I liked his I liked the new album. I did. Stutter was dope. And there's one at the end that was that was dope as well. But he be gassing. Trying to think what else there was this year. Those were all clean. I swear I be seeing people sometimes that I know, and when I see them, it ain't them. I don't know why that keeps happening, but anyway, music's dope, you know. Definitely like some Ed Sheeran or Adele. I'd love to see one of those albums come out. I'd love to see just a voice, you know. Bro, I swear I know that person. Maybe I don't. Am I tripping? Anyway. What else? Shit, tomorrow's Sunday. Probably just gonna chill. Get out a little bit. That's how it all goes out here, you know. Take it one day at a time, one step at a time. And that's all you can do. I've been checking out some of these streamers and stuff too. It's dope to see the Kai Cenat thing that happened in Vegas. Just to see like the magnitude of what they're getting to, you know, from getting online and just being a person, you know, just being themselves. That are starting to make them larger than life. Which is which is amazing. That's the way it should be, you know. That's how it's supposed to be in life. You're famous for being yourself, just being a good person, and taking care of your circle. The world's evolving. Sometimes it evolves back into what it's exactly supposed to be, you know. And hopefully what we're going through now will direct people into the right direction, into the right way of life, the way that they've been doing things. Because that's what we need, you know. We need a guide, even if it's people doing unnatural, not necessarily the organic way of life, but finding a bro, I swear. Sometimes you just need that bump, you know. Sometimes it's an accidental bump that gets us back on track, and hopefully that's what this is. All the stuff that we're going through, with the streaming, with the music, with the stuff that's going on outside, with the corona, all those things, you know. Hopefully all that directs us back to a, I shouldn't say more primitive, but definitely like a more just healthier way for us all to live, you know. Gives us more avenues for people to be natural, okay, and safe and healthy by doing the right thing, by not killing themselves, you know, to get ahead, not doing wrong to get themselves to what they want, you know, because a lot of times, especially here, people are like way overstressing themselves just to survive. So yeah, hopefully you can use these things, these avenues, whether it just be music or streaming or something like that, to create more avenues on a more natural outlet, you know, before they use like a routine kind of setting people up into avenues. Of production to like create things, you know, that we don't necessarily need. Like, you don't fucking need a backpack, you don't need a hair straightener or whatever, you know what I mean? So hopefully we can find avenues to just get us back doing normal stuff through these things we've created. It should be good. I was thinking about today, like the Elon Musk truck, the Cybertruck. Somebody had said that they didn't like the way it looked, and I remember thinking, like, it has like, it goes along so well with the sound of like the new, almost like Tron like music, you know, where things can look so, I don't want to say warped, but definitely a certain way, so futuristic, you know. And the sound of music, you're starting to see it in things that are being created in the world. And it's just interesting to see, like, you think we're gonna have flying cars? You think we're gonna get to the point where we're living in Star Wars? Like, for real? Where it really does get out of here and things are just so, the computer is so far advanced and so readily available that we're basically intertwined with it, and it becomes a new life, a part of everyday life, a part of the things that we just are, who we are, you know. I hear that they talk about like the Neuralink and all that shit, and it's a scary thought, you know. Part of me starts to think, is it a part of us that we want, or is it a part of us that we need? Have we gotten to an unfunctionable situation where we have to have the Neuralink, or are we at the Neuralink where we want to add to our life, you know, and we think that that's helping? It's like the internet, you know. It's like, did we want the internet, or do we need the internet? Because it doesn't seem like it's helping a lot of people. I mean, I see that there is help in it, but it kind of seems like it's also not helping, you know what I mean? It kind of seems like it's taking away from a lot of people as well. It's adding a lot of mental health. You know, I just wonder if we need, you know, or if we would be better turning it all off and just getting back to surviving with each other, instead of like just so much information constantly, because it can feel like we're just piling, you know, at times. People just know, like, there's some fucking encyclopedias walking around for real, and at some point it can't be healthy, you know. Overindulgence of anything is it's a negative thing. I feel like intelligence could be one of those things as well. And how do you go backwards, right? How do you cut back and start saying, like, you know what, I'm just gonna go get a knife and bow and arrow and start catching it again. You know, I'm gonna figure out how to make these rocks catch fire, and we're gonna get rid of all the extra shit, so I can put a house together. I don't need no help. I don't need no outside sources to gather, to bring in, to put me further ahead. I could do all that on my own. It's like that show. What is that? They had that thing of Naked and Afraid or whatever. I heard. I seen an episode a long time ago. I can't even. But you see all them people. They're not really surviving though. You know, they get help from the producers, and a lot of them, they need medicine, and they really are losing all that weight with the help. You know, it just makes me wonder: have we gotten past the point of return? Like, are we able to go back to the way it's supposed to be and survive, or do we have to keep pushing forward and gathering more to stay alive? And at what point do you start, like, spreading yourself too thin, you know? When does it start you cutting pieces off? When is it that you start shaving too much off and you're working so hard to keep nothing alive, you know? Bro, I swear, bro. Yeah, but at some point you gotta you have to reassess, you know? You have to self-evaluate. You have to kind of pick that this is either too much or not enough for me. And I feel like I did get that moment a while back, some years ago. I got to kind of push pause for a little bit, figure it out. And it's dope. So many ways. It did make life what's the word? More enjoyable. The smaller moments, it made the smaller moments more enjoyable. Definitely brought a clarity, some focus to it all. But how do you gauge when it's time to pick up and start moving again? You know? When do I know it's too much again? It almost feels like so much of it is not really what's happening. Here, so much is happening, you know, with the people around or other people that I know I'm not tripping, bro. I don't know. Maybe I am. I don't know why that keeps happening, though. I pulled up my app. I pulled my phone the other day. It was on YouTube. I seen a picture. I was like, what the fuck? The person was on an ad. Like, I know them. I had to like triple take. Oh, that's not them. But it had me for a minute. I really thought, what the fuck am I looking at? It tripped me out. But yeah, at some point you have to pause. This is where I'm at. This is the direction I'm heading, and reassess and redirect, you know. But it's hard to know, you know, what's too far anymore, because it's not about just right and wrong anymore. We're not walking around in the jungle anymore. You know, it's hard to tell, like, well, am I at a normal spot, or am I too far ahead, too far behind? And who knows, right? Who really knows at the end of the day? I guess life sets it back when it's supposed to be. I guess that's what Corona was for so many people, right? Some people, Corona was the best time of their life. For some people, I heard, of course, as we all know, it was the worst. And some people, it was just like this weird, messy, middle, back and forth, just reorganization of life. And then some people weren't affected at all, I guess. But it's wild to think that something like that sometimes could have maybe been needed, huh? Which I guess is irresponsible to say online, but maybe in some ways it helped a lot of people, you know. Who knows? Who knows? You can sit and analyze all day long. And at the end of the day, we're still here, going through what we're going through, no matter what the answers are, no matter what the truth is. And ain't no conversation getting figured out gonna change any of it. So sometimes we just gotta hop on board and go for the ride. And I'm all for the ride, to be honest with you. Who was I talking to? I was talking to somebody. They were talking about, I was saying I was going to move again up to Europe or Asia. And they were just, no, it's going to take you backwards. You're not going to blah, 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 blah. And at some point, you're right, you know. At some point, people are right. You can't keep just moving and moving and moving and moving and moving. have no more roots, you know. I have no more. I'm losing contact with a bunch every time I pick up and go again. At some point, it's got to settle down and be about what's outside as well, not just what's inside. And I get it. I understand that. I do want more than just a car. And some bread in the morning to eat. But I remember a while back, somebody would ask me, so do you want to be a billionaire? Ask all the time. So you want to be a billionaire? What the fuck am I going to do with $1 billion, you know? What am I going to do with all that money? Why would I want that much? I could see you can make the case for like $1 million, and I'm starting to understand why the number needs to be somewhat high, because $20 fucking for a burrito is insane. $15 for a carton of eggs is out of this world, bro. So I do understand that eventually they take what is valued at a lot, you know, when you're younger, to value nothing when you're older. But that's just what it is, you know. That's why it's like the appeal of what's outside becomes less and less as I've gotten older, because I'm noticing that, like, man, when I was a kid, you know, you could go get a lot of stuff for $5 at the store, the grocery store. I shouldn't say a lot, but you could definitely get things to eat, you know, for $5. No. All right, let's see. Okay. I remember when $160 a month for food was doable. I remember when it was doable. It was really tight. Definitely kind of using some other methods. But I remember, and that wasn't that long ago. That was like when I was 15 years ago, something like that. You know? $160. If I was really, really stretching, I probably could have made it work. But it's just crazy to think about, you know? Like, now you go to the store, $20 a burrito. How am I gonna, it makes $1 billion not seem like it's like an insane amount of money for 30 more years later to see what it's gonna be like. Because who knows? Who knows? Maybe one day it's $100 for a burrito. And then what? I don't feel like we're that far away from that, though. The way it's moving. You know, if you really think about it, 15 more years, the rate it's going, maybe $40 isn't insane to say for a burrito. $30 at least. But yeah, I remember my parents, they said, like, you can go down and get a cheeseburger for $0.05. Damn! Maybe it was pop. I think maybe they said a pop, not a cheeseburger. But still, that's pop soda. But yeah, definitely puts it a little bit into perspective. And I definitely I want something for myself, you know, on the outside. But I don't know. I'm just not into so much extra, you know. I guess that trip, you know, through all the countries, it helped a lot, because it really made me think, like, what do I need? What do I need in a house? Like, what do I need, and what do I want? Like, and what is just like, all right, I don't need to pay for that extra room, that extra space in the kitchen, that extra, or I do need that space there, or I do need that much room in the bathroom, or, you know what I mean? It just made it feel very like, well, why wouldn't I live in the poor country? You know? Is there a huge difference in the way that people treat each other with that much poverty? Some of them, yeah. I had that conversation when I had that conversation recently too. Some of them, yeah. There was a country where it was like, okay, it's too poor. You guys are treating each other like shit. But then there's other countries where it was super poor, and it was like, man, they were as happy as could be. But I guess, yeah. Just depends, you know. Are you ever going to feel accepted in the culture? Are you ever going to learn the language entirely? Are you ever going to be able to build the community being an outsider? It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, but it gets to, I guess. That's the thing that becomes more important, I guess, than the money part of it. Yeah, it's just finding a good community. If you can find a really good community, and even like a medium, middle of the road expense, and then it becomes real worth it, you know. It's one thing. But yeah, there is some places where it's just like it has too little, you know. You just need a little bit more. It was good to see, you know. There's a certain standard of living that has to be. You can't live in the woods, but there's definitely an excess where it's like, well, I don't want to kill myself every day, you know. I don't need to go learn 4,000 rules for this and that and that and that to make this work to get $1 from that over there. You know? And that's what American rat race becomes. It's just like, well, you need to know this until tomorrow. Then you need to know this, this, and this. And then the next day you gotta go this, 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 and this. And then you have to go do this, this, and this to just maintain what you had day one. And I don't know, at what point, like I'm saying with the internet, at what point does it become less important and more of a burden? You know, where does it become I don't need or want, really. You know, I definitely want a burrito, but I don't need one. I definitely don't really want them at $20. I can't say I really like them at 20. They taste a lot better. They tasted a lot better about $6-7. I remember out in Livermore, I used to work at the gym and go over to the food truck right across the street, over off of Springfield. I used to work in Springfield in Livermore at Anytime Fitness, and there was that gas station right across the street. And yeah, it was like $6, $8. Get a burrito, giant burrito, just fucking they're just fucking stone cold stunner in that bitch to get it closed. And they roll that thing up, and every day. Then they had this fucking pizza. It was called Z's Pizza in the same shopping center that I was in. You go over thin, just the thinnest fucking, because it's so fucking healthy and great for your calories and all your carb intake. That thing was just fucking thin. It was like $47 for a slice of pizza. If you wanted two, they would do it for $50 and throw in a drink at $57.95. And they're, oh, it's a special. Yeah. It sure is special. It was good. I'm not gonna lie. It was good, but it's just fucking expensive. But yeah, back in the day, the food was just price different. That's all I can say. It's more in I feel like I'm not getting robbed by choice. I don't know. I sound like I'm hating. Right? I sound like I'm hating on our country. I love America. There's a lot of amazing things about America, and definitely there's things here that the rest of the world has never figured out, and we're way farther advanced in terms of just culture and like real personality and wants. You know, that when I left, I missed. You know, I missed on a daily basis. I felt without. You know. It's just the way you connect, the way you understand life is just way different in the United States, and you do miss that. You miss out a lot when you leave, because it's just that's a part of who you are, how you were raised. You know, as anybody would, you know, if they're from wherever else. You know, they would miss whatever their aspect of it was. You know, when they came here. And yeah, I mean, we have the best music, probably the best food by far, I would say. We have just options. Like, you just have so much stuff to do all the time. It's not like that in other countries. It's like, oh, you want to go out? Well, let's go get food, or let's go to the club, you know, or to the bar. And that's like, it's a Friday or a Saturday. Whereas like here, you can fucking do anything. And it's not like that everywhere else, you know. But it's just different. Yeah, that's the best way to say it. Just different. There's good things on both sides. And this country is amazing, and what it's done is unbelievable. It's figured out how to take what the Romans, what the Egyptians, and what the British did, and put it into one, you know, and try to create something new, something refreshing, you know, in the terms of function, more so than anything else. It's a survival. It did it out of survival, to try to figure out more, to put a new battery in, you know, into life. And in terms of function, it's the best the world's ever seen, you know. Without a doubt, hands down. There's no close second. So the rest of the world comes in second together, and it's far behind. I love being from the United States because I got to see everything, you know, and I got to know what the world had possibility-wise, you know. And in all reality, I learned true way of life here, you know. I learned it from people that I met here. They may have been from other places, but I learned a lot of it here. I learned my morals and my principles, what I believe in religion here. And I don't ever want to lose that. I used to hate that part of me, you know. I used to hate being American. I used to say, this country sucks, I hate this place. And it's me, that's who I am, you know. And leaving made me find an appreciation for it. Leaving made me find an appreciation for it, because it's who I am. And I learned to love that part of myself. And yeah, there's a lot of aspects of life, even in the most basic sense, that Americans do a lot better than at least anything I've seen from anybody anywhere else. And the rest of the world will never be able to take that away, you know. They might be able to do something different in the future, but it's never going to change what we've done for the world already, you know, in such a short amount of time. In such a short amount of time, we've changed the course of humanity forever, you know. Our country's an infant compared to the rest of the world, really. Yeah. I've always wondered about that, though, you know. There was people here before we got here. There was people below us when we got here. There was people above us when we got here. But this wasn't a country, and all of those were. Just makes me wonder, you know. Like, what was the obviously it was the Indians, but like, what was the timeline before? What did they develop beforehand in terms of a community, in terms of like a standard of life? Because that's what my family is, Native American. Native American. My grandpa was 100% from a tribe. Shahan, that was my mom's name. Uncle, aunties, and stuff, they all. My uncle still keeps the last name. One of my aunts has her. Went back to hers. But how close was it to like the Aztecs, you know? Or like even the Incas or the people in Brazil, Amazonians, stuff, because like they have a real extensive, what they think, a real extensive, well-developed society, you know. The Aztecs, the Incas, and the Amazon was very well structured, put together, and developed, just in a vastly general sense. And the Native Americans had to be as well, you know. I doubt they just missed the boat, you know, but made it all that time. when we got here, they were very excited to see what the Indians had. But it's really dope to think about. History's cool, you know. I've been diving into Roman and Egyptian quite a bit. Just learning, like, how vastly different they were, you know. Egyptians were the first major power. Romans were the second. Then you had I always mess up their name. Abbasids in the Middle East. And it's three, like, very different cultures. The Egyptians really turned inward to indulge self-indulgences, and the Romans really turned outward, and the Abbasids kind of had this middle, back and forth. One really expanded off of knowledge, and one really expanded off of dominance. But both were fueled by power, you know. The way to move forward, or what looks like on the outside perspective, send yourself forward, is to indulge one way or the other. And they figured that out, you know. And one of those is very proud, and one of those is very beautiful. And they're both very, very unique, and it's cool to learn. And it would be super dope to go out there and see those places. And that's what I wanted, you know. But I gotta be somebody. I guess I gotta be somebody. Fuck. Oh well, somebody's gotta do it. But this time, you know, it's not over. That's not what I'm saying. I don't mean it like that. I'm just joking around. I'm not saying it like the opportunity's gone. I'm just starting to see that I'm starting to see how much of what my father was interested in throughout life that I am interested in sometimes. Some of the stuff. Some of it I like. Some of it I like. But nonetheless, he always had a really good point, you know. He's very smart. And was always trying to do stuff with the right intention in mind. I really found a deep appreciation for him this week. And when we got together, it's good to see and hear him. And, we get to have a little fun. We had a really good moment. A really good moment together. For like a couple of hours. It's just fun, laughing, joking around, having a good time. And yeah, the trip, it really taught me that, you know, if you're laughing, joking around, playing around all the time, life becomes a mess. If you're working all the time and you're never laughing or joking around, life becomes an ass and painful. There's a balance somewhere there. And I think everybody's balance is a little different. I think I found what ours is, at least. But I definitely enjoyed those few hours. And I feel like I'm starting to see who he really is more, you know. All growing up, he tried to really guide a lot, to the point of like forcing certain activities or circumstances or whatever, you know what I mean? And sometimes it would take away from the moment itself, where he was just trying to parent more than living with, you know? If that makes sense. And we get difficult. But I would always, even when I was young, I always knew, like, when I had a question, ask Dad. Dad knew, you know? Dad always knew. And when people had conflicting things, when people were saying conflicting things and Dad was saying, I was always like, what did Dad say, you know? Because he was always fucking right. He was always right. There's no doubt about that. He was always right. There may be some little moments where he made mistakes, but if I had a question about something, he knew. And I even had this, we were back over by his place this weekend, and I was fucking blown away at how many of his neighbors knew me. I mean, I'd lived over in his neighborhood for a while, but I came and we were outside and he like ran inside, but like every one of his neighbors was like, how are you? We've heard so much about what's been going on. I'm like, what the fuck? Every time I talk to you, you don't talk to any of these people. Which was funny. I can't say that online, but I had a really, really cool moment with a neighbor and him. And it's made me feel really good. But yeah, I mean, like, past 2 times I've been there, it's just like, hey, how's it going? Hey. No, them. Wait a minute. Every time I come over, you say you don't fucking know any of these people. He knows pretty much every person in the neighborhood. All their business, everything. They know all mine, apparently. Oh, how is this? How is that? So, have we met? Yeah. It was a good weekend. No doubt. But yeah, I mean, it's just another lesson. Family's fucking important, kid. That's what he would say. Family's fucking... No, he wouldn't say it like that online. But he definitely is, you gotta have family. My mom used to say that all the time too. She's telling me, my brother, there's nobody else out here. You two need to stick together. All the time. You two need to fucking stick. You need to look out. I don't care what happens. Your brother's right when other people are arguing with you. You and your brother stick together. If he says something, you roll with it. Ian? What? Oh shit, I shouldn't be saying people's names. Yeah, anyway. What up, player? What did you say? Water's green and purple? Alright, we're going with it. Mom drives a rainbow car? Alright, sounds good. That was Mom. Mom was this. He did what? No, he's innocent. You're a fucking liar. All the time. People would call the house. Josh did this, and this. Fucking call the police. You're lying. Click. I don't know if I need to go to jail, Mom. No, not my. Nope, not my Joshy. No. She's the best. Heart of gold. Heart of fucking gold. She was one of those people, if it was cold outside, she had a shirt and you didn't, and you were cold, she'd give you the shirt. Just so you weren't cold. Didn't matter. Didn't matter. She would always, if she loved you, if she rocked with you, if you were her friend, or you were her family, she'd do anything for you. Lay down her life in a heartbeat. No questions asked. She had a few people that she was like that with. Did not matter the situation. You need here. Never met another person like her. In that sense, you know. What do you do? That's life, right? That's life. Meet people of all different personality types through life. All different walks of life and stories, and that's the thing. People are good. All people are good. All people are good. All people come from the same pure first place. It's just that this one have circumstances that were out of what they're able to deal with, more so than that one. That's it. Whose circumstances were harder? That's it. We're all born good people. And we all need each other. And we're all an extension of each other. And at the end of the day, when one of us falls, we all really are falling. That's why we all need to help each other. Because we're not at a place of no return. And that's what we have to remember, that we created this system so that we could all move forward together. And if we've reached a place where it's hurting more than it's helping, reassess. Fucking hit us with Corona again. You know what I'm saying? it's just about life. It's just about togetherness. It's about one core unit. We're all one core unit. And there is no system that's stronger or will carry us further than love. It's the energy source that takes everybody further. More than music, more than politics, more than food. Well, maybe not more than food. I guess we kind of need food. But you know what I'm saying. More than economy, more than all that stuff. Love will all help each other and we can continue. We can scrap the whole thing. And that's it. Life is just about get up and take one more step. Find somebody's hand to grab and take the next step with. That's it. That's it. Sometimes you just gotta run and jump. That's it. But where am I at? Yeah. Can't spend life looking in the rear view mirror. Gotta look through the windshield. Yeah. Never know what life holds, right? Sometimes you gotta go for things. And that's what I'm getting ready to do. You know? I don't want to be on here preaching Bible, but I had this moment at church when they told me a story about somebody who is in the scripture. I never heard the name before, which was a shock because I've always heard. And I went and I translated it because I was like, you know what? Maybe it's because it's in Portuguese. That's why I never heard the name. Oh, it's the same name in English. What the hell? I've never heard this name before. And I looked at the story, and I mean, it just smacked me in the face. It was so just exactly what I was going through. And it's exactly what I'm talking about now. Sometimes you just gotta ask for more. Sometimes you just gotta ask for more. And I fucking do. I want some more. So, will you motherfuckers please make me famous?